G3 Assistance through Virginia's community colleges is your pathway to a new future, helping those who qualify pay for school and train for the right career. Right where you are, right now. Get a skill. Get a job. Get ahead. You can learn more at vccs.edu/G3.
This is a CBC podcast.
400,000 new cases of COVID-19 per day. That's the reality facing India right now. Even when you take into account the country's huge 1.4 billion person population, the daily caseload is still massive. Arnab Bal is a producer from St. John's who's been living in India since 2015 to be closer to his mother to take care of her. I spoke to him yesterday and asked him what things were like where he is.
I'm in a suburb of Mumbai, or Bombay as we affectionately like to still call it. The suburb is Andheri West, and I just got back into Bombay yesterday from Chennai in South India. Mumbai was really hard hit and had a really intensive lockdown, as I heard. It's not super intensive now. Things are a little bit better. In the narrow lanes, people are kind of moving around a bit, but being very cautious. The main roads, as I understand, you might still get stopped depending on where you're going.
And what's daily life like out there right now for you?
So my day-to-day life has been pretty normal because I'm a freelancer and I'm able to not only work from home, but work from wherever I'm at. So I've been staying with friends for the last months. In the beginning, we weren't too concerned. In South India, the situation wasn't as bad, and we were kind of roaming around, meeting people. As the situation kind of started to get more grave, the last sort of week and a half in Chennai, we had sort of hunkered down and we weren't really leaving my friend's home.
So is it across the country? Is it very severe right now? Is everyone kind of like where Mumbai is at?
It's still, I would say, severe, although Mumbai, it finally, the daily case numbers are coming down, as I understand. So the intense lockdown that happened in Mumbai seems to have had some effect. And the vaccinations for 18 to 45 demographic opened up on May 1st. The issue is that India, unlike the West, India is the world's youngest country demographically. So we have a huge population in that 18 to 45 demographic, and we have a vaccine shortage. So expecting a bit of a situation in that regard, but you can register. I have to do that myself. I'm going to register soon to see if I can get the vaccine over here. If not, I might try and escape, but we'll see.
Yeah. Has your family been vaccinated yet?
So my mother, who lives in a different city on the other side of the country, Kolkata, she has had both of her shots. She's a senior citizen, so she managed to get both. She got her last one at the beginning of April, so that's a huge relief. And many of the elderly people that I know have had their shots. In India, things work in a certain kind of way on the surface and then another kind of way, in certain circles. So I have some friends who are younger than me, in their 20s, and have gotten the vaccine, both jabs already before the 1st of May, just because they have connections or influence. And, you can't blame them. It's a dire situation. But even that was a long shot for my friends who had that kind of influence or connections. Honestly, in my age group, it was just started on May 1st, my age group. I'm 37. Outside of these people that might have connections, haven't seen too many people or heard of people getting their first jab yet.
Okay, so you mentioned a few minutes ago, thinking about escaping. What are you looking at there? What's this escape about?
Well, so I'm in a weird situation. My building is kind of a bit of a zone right now, and I'm half wondering if I've already had it. I mean, I've been in Bombay this whole time, and in the middle between these waves, things were pretty open. I mean, I was at a shoot. I've been going to recording studios. Things were almost kind of back to normal. So it's a wonder that I haven't had it yet at one level. At another level, I am kind of a little bit worried about not just how and when I'm going to get the vaccine here. I mean, there's a likelihood. I would probably get it faster here than I would in Canada, honestly. Just the shortage and the queues, or whether they're going to be coming to your building, I'm not sure. But also, people that have been quite safe in my building have gotten it now.
How far did you get in your research to think about coming back to whether it's Canada or the US to try to get a vaccine here? What's that research been like?
It's been interesting. The Canadian consulate here has been a little bit weird. I had to get my passport renewed earlier, and just communicating with them during the time of COVID was difficult. So I ultimately ended up calling, both for my passport and for this issue, I've called Global Affairs Canada directly. They've been more helpful, but still, especially with this escaping situation, a little bit more vague. Ultimately, I asked kind of like what kind of needs to happen, or how bad do things need to get in order for me to have in order for there to be a repat flight or something like of that nature. Basically, I was kind of given the impression that like, okay, we don't talk about repat flights until it's like completely impossible to get out of India. And the way that it is now is that most countries have barred flights coming in from India, except like a small strategically placed handful. And so I can't get back into Canada unless I figure out some sort of top secret route, like go to some third place that I can fly into, quarantine there for like 2 weeks, and then if from that place I'm allowed to fly to Canada, I can go back because I'm a citizen. So obviously, like if I show up at the border, they got to let me in, and then I got to do all the quarantine stuff, as per current rules. Australia has barred their own citizens for the first time in history. So anything could happen, I guess. But at the moment, I would have to do some weird oblique route to get home.
You've been trying to figure out where you're going to get the vaccine. You also have your mother in the country to take care of. You are a Canadian citizen, so you're weighing your options of where you want to come to get that vaccine. How are you juggling all these decisions and all these factors contributing to a big decision, really?
With difficulty. I mean, it's pretty confusing because all these different ideas have been circulating and changing constantly over the last week. Like probably like a week ago, I wasn't even considering coming back to Canada. I was like, can I just like avoid going back to Bombay? And I was thinking about going to Goa, but then now like Goa's got lots of COVID. I was thinking about staying in South India in somewhere, but that didn't seem feasible. Then we were like looking at, where can I go as a Canadian, or what's the deal? And we found out that Canada had barred flights from India, but then we realized, okay, like we checked, there's no direct flights to Canada. At this time, I realized that the flights to the U.S. were still open. So then I was contemplating flying to the U.S., quarantining there, and then coming into Canada. But then the U.S. barred flights, literally the night that I made an affirmative decision to say fly to the U.S. and like talk to my friend in the States and be like, listen, like this is what I need to do. Then immediately the next day it was like U.S. is barring flights, and then all those flights disappeared. So then I found one last option, which I am still researching via another country. And I thankfully have a friend in that country as well. Benefits of being a nomadic freelancer is that I've got a network in different parts of the world. But yeah, that's where I'm at now. That has all happened in less than in about a week. I've been juggling all these ideas. So I'm a little bit confused about what the right thing to do is, but thankfully I've had good friends to bounce the ideas off of. But even the friends understand that as things are just changing so quickly that it's hard to know what the right thing to do is.
As a part of my conversation with Newfoundland-born Arnab Bal, who's in Mumbai, India.
For more CBC podcasts, go to cbc.ca/podcasts.